Everyone, right now we're going to talk about neutral C. So neutral C is a very popular position. We use it in all the Essentrics workouts. So we're going to show you a little bit about neutral C, and then sometimes what I see in my classes when it comes to your body and positioning, and sometimes if you're too tight. So neutral C is a position where we take your hip joint and we tuck under. Take your hips and tuck under. So hips go forward and back, right? Forward and back like this. And in neutral C, sometimes in eccentrics, we take positions forward. So in order to keep alignment in the body, ear over shoulder, over hip, over knee, over ankle, we need to do this tuck under position. And so if you imagine, take your hands on the front of your hip bones here, find those. And what I'm going to do is shorten the muscles here. So when I shorten the muscles here, that means I'm pulling the thigh up toward the abs, if that makes sense. So I'm scooping under, creating this shortness here and this elongation here. So you could feel that open here. Now take it the other way. You're going to feel this start to get smaller here and more open here. So neutral C is this nice tuck under. A lot of times what I see is when people are starting to learn neutral C, everybody's super tight here. We got these psoas muscles connected to the back. Everything's super tight in the hip flexors because we sit a lot. So this position can be a little awkward at first, feels awkward. Well, awkward to achieve here. So what I see typically is this, pulling back. So if you can see the difference, now I'm going to lift up out of my knees slightly, make some space, and then roll my hip tuck under. Imagine you have you're winding your hips up, okay? What does that mean for the upper body? The upper body kind of follows suit and follows in. You're going to I always tell people, take your spine, your shirt in the middle of your spine, and imagine someone pulled it back. So you're tucking under, rounding the shoulders slightly. What I don't want to see is this, that we're totally collapsed. So you're still engaging up here in neutral C. So we're not collapsing, and in eccentrics, we never disengage. We're always open. Doesn't mean we're stressing our bodies out, but we're opening and keeping the body open. So we're still keeping it open in the upper abdominals as we tuck under. Doesn't have to be this dramatic thing. Sometimes I see this, okay? When we get in positions where we start moving in neutral C, we take the arms up or down, we take them side to side, making sure your hips are nice and tucked under. It doesn't have to be this huge tuck. Do whatever your body can do. But what I don't want you to do is compensate by bending a lot or trying to compensate with the upper or the lower body. Just tuck where you can, and then eventually we can gradually work into a bigger space and a bigger tuck. But even doing this for several years, I don't have to feel like I need to do this huge tuck, just making sure my body is safe. So what I was going to say is when you're coming down with those arms, you're coming up and you tuck under in this position and roll up. I do this a lot because we're getting the spinal movement, getting the health of the spine. Sometimes what I see is not a tuck under. I see a tuck at first, and then I see this pull back, and that's loading the back. So roll up, tuck under, even if it's a little bit, stay neutral C, and release. Good. It may feel like you're not getting as much movement as you should, but I never want to see this. This is where we start to load your back. See how far my shoulder is away from my hip? So always making sure we have that little tuck. So that is neutral C.